Because I think they're supposed to be in here.
Might be touching base. I hope. I don't know. Who knows?
We got the majority of them in here, looks like.
I'm pretty sure we told everyone.
You did, that's what I thought.
Oh yeah, sometimes I.
Because I just saw I was like, oh, well, why is there a group of this on? Maybe it's middle school.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I've been waiting for a bell to ring, only to realize there are no bells ringing today. But I live out in the annex where there are no bells all the time, so I'm just a no-bell guy. Hey, I should get a Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, I'm kind of mad at myself for that. All right, I want to be very quick, my introduction, because I want to give time to our teams that are going to be speaking today. Let me just start off with saying this, that Jesus wants us to go everywhere in this world and to make disciples and to be his witnesses. And that's really super easy to do nowadays, to go any place in this world, and it's especially easy if that's something Jesus wants done, because he will make it possible. And he did that for a few of us, and they're going to be here today to share with you what this was like for them and how it might be for you in the future. So I believe we're starting off with the South Africa team, so I'm just going to invite them to come right on up here and share.
I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails.
Okay, so we are the South Africa mission team, or at least part of it. We had 4 students and 3 staff. We had Mrs. Utek, Mrs. Hewitt, and Mrs. Terry for staff, and then also the Iggy's dad came with us. And we also had a bunch of people from Hillsview Church, and so there's a picture of our full team. And so I'm going to tell you just a little bit about the mission we went through. It's called Lydia's Mission. And so the lady you see on the far right in the gray long sleeve, her name's Claire. She is an American who was working as a missionary in South Africa for a different organization, and she is the founder of Lydia's Mission. And so one day she went to the dump, get rid of all her garbage, and she noticed a bunch of people just kind of going through the trash, and it broke her heart because she realized that they were looking for a bunch of things that they could sell to feed their family. And so she wanted to obviously do something about that, and so she started leading Bible studies there once a week. And there's a picture of the tree that they gather around every week for a Bible study. And this ministry just continued to grow. And so eventually she felt like she could and should be doing something more than just feeding them spiritually, because she wanted to help them do a little more than just survive. She hired one woman to work at her house to sew stuffed animals and other crafts to sell. And this ministry also grew into what it is today. They have a sewing center where they employ a bunch of women to sew things and sell them. They have, there's another picture of the sewing center. You can see all the stuffed animals on the wall. They have a bunch of farms that employs a bunch of women. And so that's kind of how the organization started and what it is. And so their mission isn't really just to give people the materials they need to make it through another week, but they really focus on equipping people and empowering them to make a better life for themselves and for their kids, and just continuing to disciple them in Christ. And so Eli's going to tell you a little bit more about what our role is this week.
Yeah, so what we did, when we first got there, afternoon we got to the camp, into the local church, and a lot of the teens had kind of stimulated them to get a lesson. They played a lot of games. On the right is church service. We met up with them, kind of hung out with them. We did a lot of farm chores, farm can come and bring all of their materials, and then they will go through all of the materials and sort them so that they can distribute them to the public and the community. We did a lot of weeding and picking green beans in all the fields that they had. Built 2 more desks for the sewing center, which will provide 4 more stations for the ladies who sew. There was this big like little pond of catfish, 300 catfish, and they needed 100 catfish out. I think we caught like 25-ish while we were there, so not great. And then we had 2 days of VBS. That included teaching a lesson. We played a game with them, did a song, and did craft with them. And there's the song. And we played a lot of soccer, which I personally liked. And then we went to a go-go center. Go-go means grandmother, but it kind of both grandmother and grandfather. We taught a lesson there, played a craft with them, or did a craft with them, and then they also get 2 meals a day every day at the go-go center, which is kind of a cool place. Just fellowship with them and sing songs with them. And then we did 2 home visits where we distributed food and clothes and just to a couple families that were really struggling and really needed help with their situation they were in. And it was really humbling to see kind of like the homes they lived in too. It was even in like the poor weather, like that day it was really rainy, and we went to this hut and it had like 9 people that lived in it with like 2 little beds, and it was just really eye-opening to see how they lived down there.
Okay, so kind of before I start talking about, me and Jada both have like the takeaways we took from it. I just wanted to say like it was so encouraging going down to Lydia's mission in particular, because they really focus on the sustainability of people down there rather than just going down, building a house, running a few VBSs and leaving. So we went down there and they run VBSs whether they have a group there or not. They have someone who goes to different outreach places every week, and those kids build relationships with the staff there and they know those people. And so it was really encouraging to go into something that was sustained and not just go in and leave the next week. And so 2 of the things that I really took away was joy and patience. And a verse that I kind of referenced back to is James 1:9, where it says, believers who are in humble circumstances ought to take pride in their high position. And this truly just kind of summed up the people of South Africa, because they truly did have humble circumstances, but they were so rich in their intellectual wisdom and knowledge of the Lord and the joy they had in the Lord. And it was so evident because their joy wasn't based on their circumstances, just as we obviously saw just in a few pictures you guys got to see. And they really had joy in their worship. That was a huge thing. All of them were super, super loud, and they don't care who hears them. They want everyone to hear them worshiping, and it really just shows that they truly mean what they're saying, and they want it to be glorifying to the Lord. And they're dancing in their worship. They're just truly so like energized and emotional in their worship. And another thing that I took away was just the patience they had. I mean, if I had a group of random people coming into my hometown and coming into my home like once a month for a week, like I'd probably get kind of annoyed at some point and like lose my patience a little bit. But they truly were so patient with us. Just a couple of examples, like we would worship with them in the mornings at the sewing center with the ladies who worked there, and they always had their little like dance circle line. Jada has a video she'll show you in a few minutes, but this is kind of what it looked like. And they like just kept inviting us in. They'd like pull us into the little dance circle, and we would completely throw off the rhythm. Like they could have just left us like sitting out in the back just so that like they could do their thing, like they could do it how they normally do it, but they really wanted us to be a part of their worship with them. And then another example is us 4 and then my dad were sent to the gardens, and they have a lot of these gardens throughout the farm, but we just had to pick green beans in one of them, and it took us quite a bit of time, but we were kind of like skeptical on like how many green beans we should pick, like if we should keep letting them grow or if they're ready to get picked. And so didn't pick a ton, but it was kind of funny because the ladies who came in after us literally had handfuls handfuls of stuff that we didn't get. And like they were just still, again, so patient with us, even though we didn't really do half of what we probably should have picked. But yeah, it was just so encouraging to see that. And overall, they really just showed the Lord in their life through the patience. And that was just another picture, just truly showing the kids' sheer joy just over bubbles. That was really their thing, is they loved bubbles. So.
All right. What I wanted to talk about was how together with the South Africans, we were worshiping the Lord and really just in fellowship with one another. You know, one of our group leaders named Mitch, he really focuses on pointing out to groups that it's not African culture and American culture, but together it's Jesus culture. And that is something that we got to experience, and it was like a lifetime experience that we got. So this is just a picture of us with the ladies in the sewing center all together as a body of Christ. And I know Anna mentioned that we got to spend that time in worship with them every morning. And so I have a video of us dancing with them and worshiping, and it's just so cool to see because even though we couldn't sing in their language, we were still worshiping God through our actions. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Sound to it. But yeah, even Mrs. Hewitt there, she's dancing. So woo-hoo. But yeah, that was just a cool part of our trip. Yeah, and it's just overall a fulfilling experience that you can only get once in a lifetime. And so I just wanted to encourage you guys as students just to consider God's calling you to, if He's calling you to missions, even if it's a short-term mission, just to be obedient to God's calling. Don't neglect His calling if He's leading you towards missions. You know, this is a picture, one of the kids there in the middle, I just got to have a good conversation with him about his faith in Jesus. And even as a young kid, he proved to be faithful to the Lord. And that was just cool to see. And, you know, I never would have thought that by my senior year, I'd be, you know, serving across the globe and seeing how God has used me and seeing how God has used my classmates as well. So I encourage you guys to prayerfully consider even going on mission trips next year, what the school has to offer or maybe what your church has to offer. But start praying about that now. It could be something that God is calling you to. So thank you guys for hearing about our trip. I hope you enjoyed the time and can appreciate learning about it as well.
All right, I'm assuming there's a Dominican Republic team. Oh, here they are right here. Who do I give it to?
You guys are playing the video first, right?
Darkest night. of the goodness. I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna sing. 'Cause all my life if you ain't been faithful. And all my life if you ain't been so good. With every breath that
So yeah, that's just a brief synopsis of what we kind of did. So I'm supposed to be talking about kind of what all we were able to do. This team was made up of about a dozen students, and 5 adults went with us. And through the course of a week we were there. First it was a struggle just to get down there. We have quite the stories of being stuck in Miami. But we did a bunch of gravel work. We put some gutters on churches because there's a lot of, during the rainy season, there's not a lot of inspections when they're building these projects or these buildings, and so there's a lot of flooding that happens. And so we were able to be a part of leveling out gravel. The dentist that went with us, he pulled a lot of teeth. And then with that, we also did VBS. And then the biggest part that we did was really build relationships with each other and with those in the country there. But I'll leave the talking for these guys.
Yeah, so, as Drake said, a lot of it was building relationships with each other. And for me, that was the most impactful part. A lot of these guys, most of the seniors I knew before leaving, but Maddie, Maylee, just all these guys. I didn't really know them that well, but getting stuck in an airport for overnight twice will build with some relationships. And it was just super impactful because when we got to the DR, there was a lot of nights we spent out on the roof of the mission, just praying, just doing life with each other, talking about our struggles, our achievements, and everything we've just been through together. Even Miss Prawl bringing her 2 nephews down, Garrett and Chandler, we made some great connections with them. It was just awesome having them all together. So that was probably the most impactful part for me, was just getting to know these guys, just having those experiences.
So for me, what I got from this trip is go with no expectations, I guess. Wasn't expecting to do a lot of digging, all that, I guess, but just seeing all the other people there willing to work, that was kind of a cool situation. Just building relationships, that was very cool, I'd say. And yes, that's it.
Yeah, and I definitely ditto that. Along with building relationships with the team, just building relationships with the local people there was a huge impact on me. Specifically, there was a little boy named Nathaniel, and he was just my little buddy, and just seeing how quickly recognition just clicked with him, and so he'd see me in the street like at night and run up to me, and we played together a lot, or at BBS and stuff. And so I think just the main thing for me was just how we got to build those relationships a lot during the evening, whether it was basketball or whatever it was. Just relationships built with the locals was huge for me.
Oh my goodness, guys, I'm so excited to stand in front of you like 3 years in a row. And this mission trips, they've been so powerful for me. I'll just tell you real quick who we're serving. So Haiti's pretty chaotic right now. A lot of the Haitians are immigrating to the DR, and they're in these slums. They don't have AC, they have dirt floors and stuff. And just to serve these people has been so amazing, because there's so much joy. They have so much joy and so much peace, and they have nothing, and it's just so humbling to see. So that's changed my perspective on just life in general, and just talk quickly about a couple of takeaways that I've had over the last few years. But just these mission trips, they've changed me completely emotionally, from being apathetic to just having empathy and caring about people. Spiritually, it's transformed my spiritual life with praying and just time with Jesus, reading the Bible, and it's just been so incredible what these mission trips have been for me, and just the impact that we can have on people too. In the first year when we got done, all these pastors from different churches, there hadn't been trips down there for a couple of years. They all came to the mission house. They just thanked us for forever, just praying and just singing their songs in their native tongue. And just they came from hours away on these little mini bikes, and they're just so thankful. And it's just it was just such an insane experience that we could impact them. They could impact so much. So I'd really encourage you to go on a mission trip if you can in the future.
I think all of us could spend hours talking about what this trip did for us and how we really bonded with the kids and with our team, but really it's all about what God did on this trip, and we could talk about hours for that as well. We had a few setbacks with travel and just other situations there, but really we were able to see the goodness of God through all of it, and that was a really big takeaway for me, just to see like his raw good intentions for all of us. That was just super amazing to see, and it was really fun just to see everyone here just getting out of their comfort zone and just God bringing out that service aspect in everyone. It's, like Elijah was saying, super humbling and amazing experience to get out of your comfort zone and just to love on people and everyone else. So, thank you guys for praying and for all of your support.
Those of you who went on the senior trip, some of you didn't even know that you were going to talk today, but if you'd come join me, I don't really want to be up here by myself. I'm so glad you didn't bring your pajamas to wear here today. And I'm not going to elaborate on that, but so I'm just going to talk a little bit about, there's all kinds of options of things that you can do to serve Christ, and to go overseas is an opportunity that will change you and change the lives of other people, but there's also a lot of things that you can do right close by. I think a lot of times we think about senior trips as an opportunity to just go out and have fun and bond with your classmates, which I think is probably what we did, but I'm going to just tell you a couple things. We went to Glen Area. This is the second year we've gone. Glen Area is an amazing place in Colorado Springs, a huge, beautiful castle on like 900 acres of land, and there's all kinds of stories. And it's run by the Navigators, and I'm just going to share what the Navigators is all about, because I think it really leads to why that these students did the work that they were supposed to do. So the Navigators is a ministry that's focused on developing disciples person by person by person, and encouraging spiritual growth across life stages. So it's definitely a group that works on developing disciples, and people come to the Glen Area Retreat Center for many reasons. One of the things I think that some of our students realize is they saw people just sitting quietly and spending what they call a DOG, a day alone with God. They do couples retreats there. They do all kinds of great things. And part of our service there was to ensure that this 900-acre facility was as beautiful and pristine as possible. And so these guys worked hard. And they aren't going to tell you this, so I'm going to tell you this. So each day they would plan activities for our students to do. 4 or 5 hours worth of activities to do, and inevitably they were done every day in about 2 to 2.5 hours, because they just worked so amazingly hard. And so the last day, the guy that was running it just said, you guys have worked so hard, you just want to take the day off. How about I take you on a hike? And I felt a little guilty, because I'm like, there's so much that could be done, but they just worked so super hard. But then the other thing, any of you know that high school boys are extremely obnoxious? Like in a good way, of course, but you're obnoxious, right? And that was part of the fun. But what was great is at the end of the day, going on an activity and being just dumb high school boys, which I was like, this is so great, because I almost forgot what it's like to be a dumb high school boy. It was so much fun. But then at the end of the night, when everybody's like, I think I just want to go to bed, we have these kids that said, hey, Pastor Sales, I know it's late, but can we please just get together tonight for another devotional? And the conversations and the depth of digging into their faith was just absolutely amazing. It was super powerful to see kids who could be just like, hey, I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to go hook the Xbox up to the 30-foot screen. I'm going to do whatever. No, they're like, hey, can we get alone and learn more about God? So I'm going to be quiet now. And here you go, Ethan.
I guess I'm speaking. My bad. I guess I'm speaking now. We did do a lot of activities, fun activities. Me and my group went raking a lot. We made the 2 biggest piles there at the lake. We also covered Caleb in them. Paid him $2 to do it. And we also came up with a band. It's called Lake Erie. We haven't had practice yet, but we'll start soon. We also play a lot of 2K. I went undefeated in all my games, so that's pretty much it from my standpoint, I think. We got a lot of girls Snapchat, so yeah.
Oh boy. I don't know what to say about it. Probably, I don't even know. I think it was really cool the people we took with, the sales family, because they were really good like leaders. They were in our van and stuff, and we just like taught them a lot about like their faith and just like their life and how they grew up and all that stuff. And they had a lot of really cool stories, and just a really good speaker. Like it was like super easy to just like pay attention. Like it wasn't boring, and he just like engaged us the whole time. And we like scheduled like an extra little Bible study in the morning with him too, and that was really fun. And we met Jake Paul, which was pretty cool. And we didn't get a picture because Jack stole it, and then he got mad in life. So, I think that's it.
Oh, you didn't get any applause. All right. So I thought the trip was really fun, and we made a lot of new connections with each other, and like really bonded and stuff, playing 2K most of the time. But we also met Jake Paul, like Chandler said. But Jack asked him if he could be his next fight, and it didn't go too well. So now he's on Jack's on his bad side. So hopefully he doesn't get knocked out next time he sees him. But anyways, yeah, it was a really good time, and yeah, here you go, Jack.
Thanks. I thought it was really fun. Like all this, we all like became better friends. I feel like, for the most part. And then I got to meet Jake Paul, and I got a photo with him, and nobody else did.
So probably one of the most impressionable things when we went to Glen Erie for me is absolutely how beautiful it is up there, and being able to just the people that were there was also amazing. Just making new connections with people that I didn't know a lot before, and just seeing the beauty that God has, just truly how beautiful he's made our entire world, because it's just absolutely beautiful up there, and the people that were there were just absolutely amazing.
The biggest thing that I say I could take out of it was honestly the relationships built, and honestly just the hard work we all put in. Like, we all did amazing. We worked. The girls kind of got mad at the boys a lot, but Whirly Ball was an interesting experience, especially with Ava and Jack. That was interesting. But yeah, I think a lot of us built better connections with each other, and that we all just had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and to touch back on the service opportunity, just the gratification that the actual employees of Glen Erie had for the work that we were doing, and how they continually said they wished the other volunteers were there to see just how well we were doing, and just to see how much less work continuing on. And it was just, I never really felt bored while we were doing even some of the more mundane things like mulching for multiple days, just covering just multiple feet of garden with just mulch. It never really got super boring, and it was just a great opportunity to better connect with the other seniors.
One thing that really stuck out to me from the employees, he's every day up till Wednesday or Thursday when we were working in the mornings, the guy, after we were finishing our project or getting to the end of our project, he's like, I'm going to have to find something else for you guys to do. Because he was always stuck to one thing and never thought about us continuing on or finishing the job. He was always finding something for us to do after we got it done. And then the services with what's his name? Pastor Sales. He was really good. He said that we were the ones that we interacted more than the last seniors. We had more questions to ask.
So I was part of a delightful group of young men. The biggest thing I take away from the whole trip was, yeah, I kind of got to grow with a lot of these people a lot. You kind of learn a lot about someone when you spend 7 hours in the car with them. I don't know if that's really a good thing, but anyways, yeah, lost a lot of 2K to Ethan. But yeah, I just really enjoyed the messages that Pastor Sales had to speak about. Like Chandler said, they're just super interesting, super easy to engage with. And I guess I just got to meet, or I got to know a lot of these seniors a lot better.
I actually I was put in a room with a bunch of girls that I've actually never really talked to. And by the end of the trip, we actually became really close. So that was a really nice experience. And then I was in the van with Mr. Zacco and his wife. And it was just really interesting to get to hear more about them because a lot of us just know Mr. Zacco as like our school's counselor. And so it was really fun to get to see him outside of just in school environment because he's actually, I don't know, he's more involved in your life than just being your school counselor, which I think is something that we should all really be grateful for.
So, yeah, there was a lot to take away from that, I suppose. The biggest thing I took away is that Mr. Zacco is like a really big resource. You can kind of go to him with whatever, and then like when you're done, he'll go hang out with you and have fun with you. Like, he's kind of like a multi-tool, I guess. What else? Yeah, I learned a lot. I really enjoyed Mr. Sales' messages. He was a really, really, really good speaker. And if you ever get the opportunity to like go to his church or talk to him, you should do that. That's pretty much it. It was a pretty good time. If you can go down there, do that.
So I really enjoyed building relationships with everyone, all the seniors, just getting to know them in a better way. It was kind of a mundane task, but we did a lot of raking, like a lot. But just being surrounded by such beautiful creation is just kind of you and your thoughts, so life kind of slowed down a lot. And so it was just a good time. Like, we're all seniors. It's a really busy season. Before we know it, we're going to graduate. So I was really thankful for this opportunity just to slow down life and just kind of think over things. And so I was really grateful for this time.
Yeah, so it was a very awesome trip. Just the people we went on the trip with and the people there, all the staff, they were so encouraging and helpful. It was really fun to get to know people better that I haven't before. Playing charades was quite a blast. I got to... Ooh.
Don't leave.
Yep, good stuff.
So this is going to be redundant. I'm probably going to keep it short because the bell just rang. But again, it was just really like getting to know everybody better, you know, like you're with somebody 6 hours a day at school and then you really just don't know that much about them. So just learning about everyone, you know, like we learned Lizzie's a great swimmer. Hannah loves to laugh, you know. Ava loves pickles. Like it was a really good trip. So just getting to know all the girls a lot better was really cool.
Okay, I'd just like to encourage all of you guys, when you guys go on a senior trip, just have a good attitude about it because the missions trip is there for you. It's very beneficial for you, and it was for me. So thank you.